no matter how much older you've gotten or how important your position or how many eyes are on you, it's okay to cry. You're only human. It's okay to act like a human. Welcome back to day 4 of 100 Stoic School with myself, William Mulligan, author of the Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life. Hello, my fellow Stoics. The idea of Stoic School is by the time you graduate or by the time you get to episode 20, you'll fully understand Stoicism and how to incorporate it into your life to become a Stoic, which is a cool and short way of saying you'll be calmer, happier, more successful, more fulfilled, and become the better or the best version of yourself, as Stoicism is the guide to the good life, and I'm here to share it. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Let's jump into the episode. Today's episode is the topic of, and that's something I want to clear up, because when everyone gets involved in Stoicism, they start to hear this myth that Stoicism is about being this alpha. Stoicism is about being rich, not caring what people think. It's about being an island. It's about getting all the women. It's about being manly and tough. And one thing, Stoics definitely don't cry. This is the things I hear all the time. And this is called what we now call broicism. And this is something I just want to clear up and explain exactly what Stoicism is. So if you've heard that Stoicism is this thing about being manly, or Stoicism's not for women, or Stoics can't cry, or Stoics it's about getting rich and powerful and all the women, this will explain everything you need to understand. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. Who knows? So, Stoicism, I see this a lot. It's how to get women. I see loads of YouTube thumbnails, the 13 Stoic rules to get any woman you want. Well, let's just clear something up. This is a quote from Epictetus. Epictetus is one of the most famous Stoics. He wrote the Enchiridion and the Discourses. Well, actually, his student Arian of Nicomedia wrote them, but they were based off of his words. Arian was at his lectures writing this stuff down. Epictetus was a Greek-born crippled slave, and Epictetus inspired Marcus Aurelius to become a Stoic. So, Epictetus had this to say: "Today when I saw a good-looking girl," and this is on the topic of women, "Today when I saw a good-looking girl, I didn't say to myself, it would be nice to sleep with her, or her husband's one lucky guy, because that is tantamount to saying anyone would be lucky to sleep with her, even in adultery. Nor do I fantasize about what comes next, the woman undressing in front of me, then joining me in bed. I pat myself on the back and say, well done, Epictetus. You've solved a devilishly difficult problem, much harder than the master's argument itself. So how does one get there? Start by wanting to please yourself for a change and appear worthy in the eyes of God. Desire to become pure, and once pure, you'll be at ease with yourself and comfortable in the company of God." So this is actually a really good guide to do good things. The Stoics like to kind of imagine that we are part of God, God is a part of us, so that God is actually witnessing all that you're doing. And I know many religions believe this. God is watching over you. So the Stoics say, when you go to a brothel, you're forcing God to engage in these horrible acts. So the idea is you imagine that God is there, and your goal is to stay pure. And by pure, that is to be good, to follow virtue. That is your goal. So when these bad things pop up, your main goal, your main objective isn't to achieve getting this woman, isn't achieve getting this wealth. So you're not going to do bad things to get there. Your goal is to do good. So you do good and you get to where you're going. You get to where you're aiming. So hopefully that clears up one thing. The next thing is Stoics don't cry. I've seen people share about crying, men share about crying, these really tough men, yet they still get hate comments saying this is not manly, this is not Stoic. People like Jocko Willink or David Goggins get hate. And I just think, how can you argue with these men? Anyway, this is an email I received many years ago from Ryan Holiday, who is a Stoic author, if somehow you haven't heard of him, a very famous Stoic author. He said, and this is a bit of a long one, We know that Marcus Aurelius cried when he was told that his favourite tutor had passed away. We know that he cried that day in court when he was overseeing a case and the attorney mentioned the countless souls who perished in the plague that had ravaged Rome. We can imagine Marcus cried many other times. This was a man who was betrayed by one of his most trusted generals. This man who lost his wife of 35 years. This was a man who lost 8 children, including all but one of his sons. Marcus didn't weep because he was weak. He didn't weep because he was unstoic. He cried because he was human, because there was these very painful experiences made him sad. Antoninus, who was Marcus Aurelius' stepfather, seemed to be a bit more in touch with his emotions than his young stepson. He seemed to understand how hard Marcus worked to master his temper and his ambition and his temptations, and that this occasionally made him feel bottled up. So, when his stepson's tutor died and he watched the boy sob uncontrollably, he wouldn't allow anyone to try calm him down or remind him of the need for a prince to maintain his composure. Neither philosophy nor empire, Antoninus said, takes away natural feeling. The same goes for you. No matter how much philosophy you've read, no matter how much older you've gotten, or how important your position, or how many eyes are on you, it's okay to cry. You're only human. It's okay to act like a human. So hopefully that clears up crying. There was an Athenian Stoic on a ship, and the ship was going through a violent storm, and he went pale and he was almost sobbing, but he wasn't looking good. He was shaking. And when he was questioned with this, saying, "Great Stoic, I thought Stoics don't feel emotions. Why did you get scared? Why was you almost sobbing?" And the Stoic said, basically, it's human to feel these things. What I don't do is add to this. I don't make it worse by imagining evils, imagining the situation to be more difficult. It is what it is. I feel these emotions, but I don't add to them. A quick word from our sponsor, Huel. I really like Huel. When I was writing my book, I was using Huel to power me through every single day. When I had my daily greens, when I had my meals, when I had my shakes, it stopped me from going to the shop, buying a load of rubbish, buying a load of unhealthy food, wasting loads of money. And these things do add up. Those quick journeys to the shop every day, the money adds up, the unhealthy foods add up, the wasted time adds up. So if I ever get those cravings, I grab a Huel and it fills my cravings. I feel good, it tastes delicious, it's quick and easy. And if you have any interest in the Huel products, then check the link in the description. Let's get back to the episode. So the next thing is on this topic of being rich. I see loads of Stoic videos about getting rich. 7 Stoic passages to make you a millionaire. Stoic principles so that you can get unlimited money. These kind of things. Or, getting a Bugatti or something, Epictetus said this: "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having fewer wants." Seneca also said, "It matters little whether the house be built of turf or of variously coloured imported marble. Understand that a man is sheltered just as well by a thatch as by a roof of gold." And Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations a lesson he learned from his mother, to stay well clear of the habits of the rich. He also said not to be Caesarified, dyed in purple, which means not to think you're better because you're Caesar, because you're rich, because you're in power. Marcus Aurelius was one of the wealthiest men in the world. He had the most power in the world. Yet he avoided doing things that these rich people did. He didn't really care about all these things. He slept on the floor. He wore a ragged robe that the Spartans wore. And he ate very plainly like the Spartans did in their training. So that brings me to the last point about Stoicism. People believe being Stoic is about being an island. It's about being this strong man that doesn't need help, doesn't take nothing from no one. Stoicism is not about this. In Zeno's Republic, the founder of Stoicism, he wrote that the ideal world is full of sages that are friends, that love each other, that care for each other. Marcus Aurelius, in the first book of the Meditations, wrote all the lessons he learned from his friends, his family, his tutors, people he admired. So he took wisdom from people. And this was noted in Marcus Aurelius. He was always learning from people. And, we often think that it's weak to ask for help, that it's giving up asking for help. Marcus Aurelius seemed to believe that asking for help was a refusal to give up. It was seeking a better path. And he describes like the soldiers climbing the castle walls, storming the castle walls. The soldier accepts the hand over the wall to carry on his mission. The one that refuses a hand over the wall gives up on the mission. So when you refuse help, you're giving up on your mission. So Stoicism isn't about squashing your emotions. It's about understanding your emotions. It's not about being selfish. It's about understanding self and your place in this universe. It's not about getting rich. It's about being rich at heart. Understanding that the more you desire something, the more you tell yourself you don't have. As the great cynic, Diogenes, the cynic, he said that, he was the richest man in the world because there was nothing that he desired that he couldn't have, because he didn't desire anything. When Alexander the Great, this super rich guy, could have anything, came up to Diogenes and said, I am Alexander the Great. Diogenes, what could I give you? He said, move out of the way of the sun. So he didn't desire anything. He was a wealthy man. So Stoicism is not Broicism. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But just because you're here for Broicism, don't give up. I was here for Broicism. I picked up the meditations thinking it would make me a strong man, that it would make me not care about things. But it makes you care about things. It makes you care about life. It makes you care so much that you fix your life, that you sort your life out and become a good person, that you become a balanced person, a happy person. And that comes with discipline. It comes with courage. It comes with strength. But it's not just these things. It's everything tied together, and it's beautiful. And Stoicism is the guide to the good life. That is it for day 4 of Stoic School. There's 96 more days to go until you graduate. So if you want to support what I'm doing, then it's free. You can give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscribe, give me an ad, give me a thumbs up, give me I don't know what app you're on, but give me one of those things that support it. And if you really want to support, actually there's 2 things. If you really want to support, then rate me if you're on any streaming platform, give me a rating, hopefully 5-star if it's good. And if you really, really, really want to support me and you want to help a friend, then introduce them to Stoic School. Stoicism, and I've heard this from people. People have thanked me. They've thanked me with so much. They've said it saved their life or changed their life, me introducing them to Stoicism. And they've also said, my grandson introduced me to Stoicism. My grandson got me your book, and I can't thank him enough. It's changed my life. So you can introduce someone to Stoicism by introducing them to Stoic School, and hopefully it really helps them and it helps you. And if you want these lessons in short, they're available on Instagram. So if they can't be bothered to listen to me talk, they can listen to a minute on Instagram. It's condensed and it's edited, so it's more enjoyable maybe. I don't know. People love that short form content. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.